Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for waiting a few moments as we work through a couple technical difficulties on the back end. My name is Courtney Pollock, and I am the Customer Marketing Coordinator for SWK Technologies and your host for today's webinar, Sage Intacct times Excel, How to Bridge the Gap. So we're going to dive right in. I have just a couple housekeeping items to go through. Everyone has been placed on mute to keep the background noise to a minimum. However, throughout the session, we encourage you to ask questions at any time. So you can ask those questions in the chat, you can ask them in the Q&A, wherever you put them, I'll find them and make sure today's presenters answers those questions for us during the Q&A session. This session is also being recorded, and we're going to send it out tomorrow afternoon to the email you used to register. We also put our webinars and other, helpful Intacct how-to videos, all types of things on our YouTube channel. So that is a great resource to check out. So I know we're running a little late. We're going to dive right in. I'm going to bring today's presenter, Duffy, on stage so he can tell us all about how to get Velixo and how to connect Acumatica to Excel. So Duffy, take it away.
Fantastic. Thanks for that, Courtney, and nice to meet everyone here today. My name is Duffy Cohen. I'm the Vice President here at Velixo. What you all will see today is a live Excel-based reporting solution that allows you to push all your data between Sage Intacct and Excel. So whether it's financials, project data, any objects that you have, not to worry, you'll be able to push and pull and still use a solution Excel, which is what most of us here already know. A little bit about Velixo, just high-level overview. We are a live, again, Excel-based reporting solution. We've been around for over 8 years. Recently joined the Sage space just over 2 years ago, and we've already became the #1 marketplace partner in the Sage Intacct ecosystem. And I think it's not a surprise because at the end of the day, with over 1 billion users utilizing Excel already, it just creates that great integration between your ERP that you're already familiar with. In terms of working with SWK, great, fantastic organization. We worked with them for many years, many mutual customers, and their team is certified on Velixo as well. So you have support from us, you have support from them. You're always going to be supported because that is the key to being able to be successful. Now, a little bit more about some of the issues and limitations that you all might have right now if you're potentially using the status quo, which is the innate report writer, or you're exporting your data and you're manipulating over and over again. So a few pieces to mention. Number one, first challenge is, of course, that limited flexibility. In any report writer that you're going to be using, you can't have the format or you can't have the reports looking and feeling in the exact way that you want. You might have conditional formatting that you need to put in place within your given report because your board of directors needs that, and it becomes a very mundane task. The second component is the ability to not have that Excel live integration with the reports or with the data that you're working on within your ERP. Many customers have told me before the #1 button that they use in their ERP is that export to Excel button. And then when they go and they create that report, by the time they're done creating that, it's already outdated. And we like to call that copy and waste. The last piece is the inefficiency in terms of the amount of reports that you're writing within your ERP. And Courtney, apparently I'm not being heard, Laura had mentioned. I don't know if you're hearing me as well or not.
Yeah, I'm not having any audio issues. So if there's anyone else out there that cannot hear, let us know. And it could potentially just be a single issue. So if that's you, I would suggest trying to exit out and rejoining. That may fix things for you there.
Okay, great. Thanks for that. And Laura, worst case scenario, we'll be able to send you this recording as well following the call itself. So very happy on that side from our standpoint. Last piece I did want to mention is that slow data entry process where your team might be manually putting in data into your ERP, whether it's journal entries, budget data, and this takes time. And it's also error prone. If you really think about it, it's very easy to make a mistake. So all of these pieces combine create that inability to give you that experience, that robust experience that you want when you're starting to report for whether it's month-end close, budgeting season, when you need your data in a timely manner. This is really where Velixo comes in. And Again, I'm only going to spend a couple more minutes on here. I want to dive right into the solution itself. But high level, Velixo is a live Excel-based reporting solution. And the first thing you all will see is how quickly we connect into our Sage Intacct environment directly within Excel. It only takes about 30 seconds to log in and put your credentials in. And one of the pieces I always like to mention is that you're going to be using the exact same credentials you log into Sage when you're logging into Velixo. And that's a very big piece because that allows us to mirror those permission rights that you set for each user in Sage to when they're using Velixo. In addition to that, I already highlighted briefly, but we'll touch on a few examples, that ability to push your data back directly from Excel. And then the last and more new functionality we brought in is the report distribution capabilities. And this allows you to send out reports to whether it's internal, external members at the click of a button, and you can slice and dice how you want to send these out. So you might have to send a report out in PDF. You might want to do with Excel with no formula. You have all the abilities that you need when you're sending these reports out. Now, there's a lot that you can do from the Velixo side when it comes to reporting, but for the sake of time and purposes today, let's skip over this slide because I did want to get right into the meat itself. A few last pieces here are just some examples of different types of reports that your team might be looking to build out. We've recently also created a vertical for NFP, so we have templates that we'll touch on the next little bit. And the same idea with construction, which is a very large segment of our business as well. So WIP reports, cost to completes, we've created templates out for all of those given scenarios. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into Excel. So let me go ahead, and as you can all imagine, I am going to be going into Excel. So let me just zoom in a little bit more. The first question is always, how do I get started with Velixo? It's very simple. Directly within Excel, you'll go to the top right-hand corner where it says add-ins. We'll search for Velixo. Let's do that one last time. And then all you're going to do is click on add. Once that's complete, you'll see on the right-hand corner, this is where you'll be able to choose Sage Intacct. And the beauty here is that, like I mentioned previously, the credentials that we're already using to log into Sage, as you'll see right here. So let's just take our Skyline environment as an example. Same credentials that we're using to log in. Two other items. The connection name, you'll notice that I'm going to be referencing this quite frequently. Just try to keep it as short as possible as you're building reports out. If your team is using the REST API and your team is set up with SSO, you can fully authenticate with Velixo in that manner as well. All right, so let's go ahead and connect into our environment. Let's put the right passcode. And we are officially connected. So you'll see the check mark in green. Now, once we're connected, you'll notice that there is a slew of new functionalities that have been embedded into Excel. Refreshing your data in real time, drilling down, which is a great tool. This allows you to click on any cell in any one of your spreadsheets and go to that source batch directly within Sage. Sending out reports, writing your data back with templates that we've already created. For those of you who might not be as familiar with utilizing Excel with those functions, we have a query builder that will actually help you build out those given functions. Outside of that, a lot of additional functionalities, and then all the support documentations that are available. With that being said, let's get started. And I always like to show that foundation of Velixo with just a simple consolidation. So we're going to start off with that, and then I'm going to touch on a sample pack report that is going to highlight many of the new functionalities that we've brought in recently. So let's say we wanted our chart of accounts. You can put these in manually if you like, one by one, typing them in. You can click export to Excel, which again, that's a static file, so you'd have to do this over and over again. Instead of doing all that, you can go up top where it says insert, chart of accounts. We'll see our connection populate, click on insert, and now all the work is being done behind the scenes. You'll see in a matter of seconds, our chart of accounts populates in real time. And I like to emphasize, this is a dynamic function and list. Next piece of the pie we're going to be looking for is our chart of accounts. So we'll type equals, and Velixo 101 is that we are a function-based solution. So we'll type equals, like I mentioned, SI for Sage Intacct, .account, name. Once you click on that, you'll see a drop-down with the argument. And every function we host has the same annotation. So you'll have the function with the arguments and all the details around that already available. If you recall, I said to try to keep that connection name short because you'll see we're using that in this scenario here. Let's close this out. And you'll see if I drop this down, you'll see the list of the accounts. Now, I already mentioned that everything here is dynamic, but I want to show you this in real time. So let's take this account right here, 10,010. And let's say I'm going into my environment within Sage. And we wanted to change that account name. It's as simple as going into our account directly within Sage. And momentarily, we will go ahead and update this. So let's go ahead and take the first item right here. All right, so let's say happy Wednesday. Once you go ahead and click on save, that's all we have to do on the Sage side. We dive back into Excel. You see this refresh all icon. Click on refresh, and you'll see in a matter of seconds that account name will have updated in real time. Now, the next piece that we're going to look to do right now is look for our closing balance. Now, let's say we wanted from a period to another period for a given location. And this is probably going to be a dead giveaway that we're located in Canada here, but this will localize to your region within the US if you're in the US. And let's take 01 just to be safe because we want more than just one day. And finally, let's put a location for 100. At this point, you can absolutely put a function in like I already highlighted. But for those of you who are using Excel on a day-to-day basis, I'm sure you're familiar with this insert function icon. What you'll notice in the category section, as I scroll down below, is that we added a new one called Velixo Index. From here, we type SI. And here you'll have the entire list of functions that we host. Closing balance, this is the one we're looking for. So let's go ahead and click on OK. And now it's just plugging and playing into the appropriate field. So we have our connection. Let's go ahead and lock down our account. From date. And finally, our location ID. You'll also notice that there's filters for your reporting books, dimensions, user-defined dimensions. You really don't have to worry about limitations. And one piece I do also want to mention, because this might be something you all are thinking about with the API costs, don't worry by any means. We have a separate arrangement with Sage Intacct, where your team will not have to pay for every single time you click on refresh or pull your information. Now, before I click on OK, last component is this help on that function. And I may have gone a little too quick, but you'll see it right here. But this is where you'll notice that there is assistance with every single function that we host. We're at the closing balance function right now. So you'll see the syntax, the arguments, the parameters. But as I scroll down, you're going to see multiple examples. So we try to cover off every given scenario where you'll have the argument, description, result, and a screenshot. So you'll see I'm only going through a few examples right here, but we cover off every given scenario. OK, so let's dive back to the report itself, and let's go ahead and bring this to life. And you'll see on the right-hand side, there's a status icon. So if you want to know what's being refreshed or what's being pulled on the back end, just click on the status. I know it's already calculated in our scenario because it's quite quick, but just gives you that additional visibility. OK, let's make this look a little bit nicer. All right, and let's line this up. So at this point, we have our balance, we have our financial period, we have our location. You can change that financial period, you can change your location, and you'll see the values will be updated in real time. You might even want to do a consolidation of multiple locations. So let's take a simple approach for this time. Let's say we wanted 100 and 200 as an example, and then we want a consolidation. and you're saying, I'm just using a hybrid of Excel functions that you already know in addition to ones we baked into Excel. Last piece I'm going to show here before we switch gears and touch on this sample pack report is how we group our accounts together. So at Velixo, there are three ways. You can group specific accounts. You can use something called ranges, or even something called wildcards, which allows you to mix and match those accounts you want to group together. Let's take the first example. Let's say we only wanted accounts 10,010. What else? Let's say 10,100. And then let's say 10,200. All I'm going to do is put a semicolon in between those values. At this point, copy any one of those three line items and then paste into the appropriate field. Oh, let me do that one last time. There you go. And here you'll see the addition of those three accounts. Next one is ranges. Let's say we wanted 10,010 all the way to, what do we have? 10,400. Same idea applies. And then finally, wildcards. So let's say we wanted 10,010. Let's say we wanted, well, let's change gears. Let's say we want anything with a leading one. We'll put 4 question marks after that because we have 5 total digits. And then let's say we don't want account 12,100. And again, you'll see in real time your data loads, updates in real time. All right, so now the fun stuff begins, and this is where I'm going to highlight some of the samples that we've already created. This is one of those sample pack reports that's already available on our website. We have templates out of the wazoo as well that are available on our site itself. You'll see for this given instance, you have multiple locations. You can toggle between those locations and you'll see your data update in real time. And when you're thinking of from a formatting perspective, this isn't Velixo. This is using your standard Excel abilities. You have the conditional formatting, you have your inline visualization. Everything that you need is living within Excel. One of my favorite functions, and a lot of customers really like this ability, is the drill down tool you'll see up top. And again, this allows you to drive right from Excel into Sage Intacct. Let's say for our intents and purposes, we want to see all the accounts that are within our operating and maintenance expenses. Click on drill down, and you'll notice that in a moment or so, there will be a new sheet, and it's already populated. And this is going to highlight all of the accounts within our operating and maintenance expense. From here, let's say you want to see all the transactions within our professional fees expenses. Click on View Transaction, and here you'll have that second level drill down, which gives you a more granular view. So here you'll see the journal, description, debit, and then the balances. But it doesn't stop here. So from here, let's say I want to see this original invoice. Click on View Batch, and from here, you're pushed into Sage. So very quick, couple of clicks, and here we'll see the description. Let's go ahead and grab this original attachment, and you'll see invoice just like that. All right, so the next tool I'm going to touch on, there's 3 last tools I'm going to touch on. One of them is going to be the ability to report on anything. So not financial functions, which we've created functions for, not project-related functions, which we have created functions for, but it's any single object. Let me take a quick example, and we'll dive into Sage just for a moment or so. But let's say we wanted all of our AP bills. Let's just take the first example as a test. And what you'll notice, I'm not going to touch anything that you see below on the screen. We go up top where it says More Actions, Object Definition, and from here, we're just going to copy that integration name called AP Bill. Dive back into Excel, zoom in just one more time, and we're going to use another function. This time it's called Query. So here we're going to be querying, and again, it gets pretty redundant, which is a good thing in our scenario, but the connection name, our object, and that's it. And you'll see just like that, this is your entire AP bills that has loaded in real time from Sage Intacct. And you'll notice this is quite a lot of information, and I am sure that you probably won't need all of this. You can filter through this by any means that you need. But one of the real beauties behind Velixo is that you might have different data sets within different screens within Sage Intacct. You can combine those onto one spreadsheet so you can get the exact report that you need. Really great tool. With that being said, wanted to touch on that write back capability because I'm sure a lot of you here have heard about write back, would like that functionality to be able to automate some of your processes when it comes into manual entries that you're probably doing right now. With Velixo, you'll see right up top it says perform write back, but right next to that, you're going to see a drop down with templates. If I click on journal transactions, as an example, you'll see this template that populates where all you have to do is fill out the appropriate columns, click on perform write back, and these journal entries will be pushed back. Yes, we are on a webinar today, so I did want to show an example, a real life example that you all can see. This was actually from a customer recommendation a couple of years ago. They went onto our website and they actually submitted an idea. You'll see right on the help center right up top. And they asked if we had that ability to write data back. At the time we didn't, but this was our first use case and it has really snowballed ever since. This given example, customer liability insurance provision, monthly basis, had to throw these accrual back in on a monthly basis. Manual calculation, and then on top of that, manual entries in the ERP. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go and modify this tax rate, let's say to 3.9. When I click on tab in a moment, you'll see all the values update. So let's go ahead and do that. At this point, let's assume we want to push this back into Sage. Click on perform write back, current worksheet. That's all. Now all the work is being done behind the scenes. And just like that, you're already going to have a pop-up within Sage with those entries that have already been pushed back. So 942, 1357, 628, and so forth. And if I open Sage up, you'll notice it has not been posted. So this has a draft. You have the timestamp and you know who modified it. So full trail, full visibility. Once we launched that ability to write back journals, we had customers saying, that's great, but we want to be able to use Velixo for budget write back. So as you'll see, we've created another example here. It's pretty detailed. And again, this is also available on our website, but you can add custom columns like your prior actuals, your percentage increases. If you're seasonal, you can choose the allocation type for your organization. And when you want to push your budget back, so if you want to update an existing budget, put a new budget in, it's the same idea. You click budget write back, and from there, it goes directly into your budget within Sage, where you'll sign in, go to your budget repository, and you can release it right away. So fantastic tool. The last write back scenario you'll see here is called universal write back. So this is the ability to push back into any screen. And just high level quick example you'll see here, creating an AR invoice is a common scenario we have with our customers. So I just wanted to show you that this is another example that you all have available. One of the last few items we'll touch on today is this new list, which is really a distribution functionality. And this gives you that luxury of being able to send out reports to individuals at the click of a button. So you can pick who's going to receive them. You can choose if they should receive just limited access to a given location. You can slice and dice these reports in the way that you want to send them out. Now, I know we have 2 minutes left, so for the last minute, I'm going to go briefly through the support documentations and the training resources that are available. And then I'm going to talk about just a limited time offer that all of you here will have access to because you all have joined the webinar today. First things first is at Velixo, so help.velixo.com, you'll see that we have a lot of content to help you get started. Of course, you'll have a customer success manager from the Velixo side. You're going to have support, of course, from the team there at SWK, but we want to make sure that you have all the resources because a lot of the customers that we work with, they're off and running. And when it comes to implementation, a lot of the customers we work with really self-implement. So here you'll see getting started toolkits. You'll see every single function that we have. So the financial functions, project functions, templates here as well. So A lot of the templates you already have available, as you'll see right here. So if you click on the register, you'll see these templates itself. We have ones for financials. For those of you who are construction, there's a different set as well, but we have those. And then same idea, we just rolled out not for profit as well. So a lot of content here. In addition to that, for those of you who potentially need a little bit more assistance, or you might designate several members on your team to learn Velixo because you have individuals who will be working and reporting on a day-to-day basis, we do have an optional training program. So this covers Velixo top down over 3 sessions. So it's a very, very nice tool because it gives you that classroom style session with a live individual. So with that being said, I know I covered off a lot in a very short period of time. Wanted to highlight now, we're going to touch on the offer that we're currently running, and then we can talk about Q&A for some questions that you all might have. So perfect. Thank you for putting that up already, Courtney. So discounts, it's a very nice and aggressive promotion that we're running for the end of Q3 because we know that's Sage's financial year end. But those of you who are on the Essential, so we have 3 programs on Velixo. Essentials is for 2 users, the ability to pull information. You'll have access to that. Price point for that is $3,800 annually for those of you who are curious. And then we have professional and premium. We're doing a 20% discount year 1, 10 in year 2, and 10 in year 3. And professional, just so everyone knows, that is $6,050 a year. And that gives you 10 users, not 2. And it gives you the ability to push back your budget, journal. And then the last one is premium. This is 20 users, and it gives you writing back anything. So budgets, journals, and then universal write back. But more than happy to share this pricing if any of you have additional questions. I'm sure the SWK team can also provide that. But happy to open the floor, some questions that y'all might have.
Yes, thank you, Duffy. This is a great offer that is running through the end of September. So we did just launch a poll on the right side of your screen. Let us know if that's something you'd want to take advantage of. If you say you want to take advantage of it, that does not lock you in. That just means we'll reach out and give you some more information. So don't feel hesitant for that. There's also a couple other options. We fit as much as we could into a 30-minute session today to give you a sneak peek, which I know my presenters always will love. But if you'd like to see a more personalized demo that speaks, specifically to your business, what you're trying to do, your current processes, let us know about that as well. We'd be happy to connect you with the right people. Or if this is something, you need to revisit later on, let us know as well. And we'll make sure that your account manager reaches out at the right time for you. And then I think we do have a question right here. So this person said, can you give us an idea of pricing? And then you did say some of the pricing, and they wanted you to say again what the essential pricing looks like. Is that 2 users for $3,800 annually, or can you just go over that a bit again?
Absolutely. I know I ran through that part a little too quickly. Yes, so the $3,800 annually is for 2 users, and it gives you the ability to pull your data. So the write back is not part of that. And then for anyone who needs training, it's $960 as well a year. It's up to you if you need it. A lot of our customers, like I already mentioned, they get started with Velixo on their own. It's Excel. And really, it's about learning those functions more than anything.
Okay, perfect. And that looks like our one question. And we are a couple minutes over time, so I want to respect the fact that I know everyone has other things to get to. So if you think of a question after the fact, don't hesitate to reach out. You can always reach us at info@swktech.com. You can message your account manager if you are a current SWK customer. We'd be happy to help connect you with Duffy and his team. We love working with Velixo. It is a great product. None of us, I think, have really been able to instigate Excel spreadsheets as much as we try. So thank you, Duffy, for a great presentation today. Thank you all for joining us. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Bye now.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.